My dishwasher said it had 10 minutes left upstairs, which I think means it's just drying now. But if there's some like huge noise, that's probably that I was wrong.
My dishwasher goes like it's really annoying. Like it when it finishes.
Like Sandstorm.
I'm sure. Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
What a song.
Howdy, it's Monday, December 19th, 2022, and this is episode 191 of Due for a Win, the Atlantic City and Casino Biz podcast. I'm Kyle Askin, joined, as always, by Craig Stone. What's good, Craig?
Didn't we just do this?
It was like, what, 5 days ago?
Yeah, I think it was 5 days ago that we were last recorded, so tight turnaround.
What's the fastest turnaround we've done?
6 between posting episodes.
Uh-huh. So if you get this up tomorrow, if you get it up Wednesday, it'll be 6 between posting?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, it has to be up by like Thursday, right? Because you're leaving?
I'm leaving Friday, so I have until Friday to post it. And it'll probably go up Friday, which will mean that there will be 4 days of news. Uncovered news.
Yes, and I'm sure all of the news is coming out right now.
Yeah. From December 19th to December 23rd, Atlantic City's most bustling time of the year for big announcements, new things coming soon, and they will not be in the podcast. And we can't talk about them in 2023. Like once the calendar turns over.
Yeah, it's all 2023 all the time. We're not a podcast that dwells on the past. We have not been doing that for the last 20 minutes, literally, before the show started.
Speaking of dwelling on the past, 1891. The city began licensing rolling chairs on the boardwalk. That is not to say that rolling chairs had not been on the boardwalk previously. Our friends, the Atlantic City Free Public Library, tell us that the chairs actually first appeared in the 1880s, but they weren't technically legal. They were only allowed for handicapped people. The Free Public Library says, and I quote, "Some individuals pretended to need the chairs." Could you imagine?
No, that's unbelievable.
City authorities made no objection to this, and the practice grew. It says there was one company, I think in 1884, one store that started renting out the chairs, and then the innovator was William Heyday, and you may recognize the name from Heyday Coffee Company, whose logo is a pushcart, and I never put these two things together until right now. William Heyday owned a hardware store near the boardwalk, and he rented out the chairs, but he also gave you a person to push you around. In 1887, so none of that is 1891. What happened in 1891 is the city started licensing them. For $10, you could get your pushcart licensed. So basically nothing happened in 1891 is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And in 1791, Jeremiah Leeds, probably chilling.
With 10 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in 1991, we've already, in past episodes, talked about the state allowing casinos to be open 24 hours a day, which, by the way, it's crazy to me that for 14 years or whatever before that, they didn't, but that's fine. And we also talked about Trump Taj Mahal's bankruptcy, but we have something else to talk about, and that was the Battle of the Ages, Evander Holyfield and George Foreman, on April 19th, 1991, at Convention Hall, though it's being billed as at Trump Plaza, which I believe you mentioned last time, that things going down at Convention Hall were just billed all the time as being at Trump Plaza.
Yes.
So the bout was for the uncontested heavyweight championship, which was held by Holyfield going into the fight. George Foreman, this was his comeback, so he was 42, and crazy enough, like 3 or 4 years before he actually won the heavyweight championship again. Holyfield was 28. Holyfield won by unanimous decision, though I read and then watched round 7, I think, was considered the round of the year that year in 1991. The fight brought in $55 million on pay-per-view, which at that point was the highest grossing fight ever. I like some boxing, so.
Yeah, the whole fight is on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can watch the entire thing. You can see how much Atlantic City is there.
I just watched round 7, so.
42-year-old George Foreman. He had retired for like 10 years.
He retired for 10 years, yeah.
And then at 45, I think.
Yeah, 46, I think he won that title. Yeah.
That's insane. Imagine just getting punched in the face repeatedly at 46 years old.
Let me tell you, George Foreman never had good defense, and his defense was even worse when he came back. So he was getting punched in the face a lot.
Yeah.
But the man could punch extremely hard, so.
I should go watch that whole fight tonight after we hang up here.
Yeah.
So that's the history. What about the future? Going into 2023. We've already wrapped up 2022, as we said.
Yes, it's all done.
We've talked about music festivals.
Uh-huh.
We now have the lineup for the most recent one that's been announced, which is the Tidal Wave Festival.
And I think I'm by far the most qualified to talk about this, so I'll just take over for you.
I know you love your country music. Tell us all about the bands.
Yes. Tidal Wave is August 11th to 13th, 2023, on the beach. The headliners are Thomas Arrett, Jason Aldean, and Brooks and Dunn, and I've heard of 2 of those bands. So
nice.
That shows you that you're huge.
Yeah, 2 of those 3. I mean, that's a lot for you.
That is a lot. And it also has the likes of Cole Swindell, Jody Messina, and a bunch of other people going to it. So what are your thoughts? Are you going?
I certainly have no interest. I do think, some nice pop country music that's enjoyable out by the pool, drinking a Modelo, but I don't know the names of any of the bands. Like, I'll hear them in passing. I've been to Jason Aldean's bar in Nashville. That's about it.
This has nothing to do with country music, so sorry if you really want, like, in-depth do for a win thoughts on Tidal Wave.
We are not qualified for that discussion.
No, so. Absolutely not. I noticed when I was driving my wife's car the other day, so it's like not hooked up to my phone, so I don't listen to podcasts on it, which is what I do 100% of the time in my car. That, when I listen to the local rock stations, like, I still recognize like 95% of the songs they play. Is there just like no new rock music? Is everything like pop? Or am I listening to like the boomer rock stations now and there's just new rock stations that I don't know about?
No, I think that...
I assume that there just is, like, no more rock these days.
Well, I mean, we talked about this a little bit with the festivals, the other festivals that are coming, and how they all have, like Limp Bizkit and Blink-182 and stuff that's all from forever ago. And then bands that are rock bands now, like Paramore and Fall Out Boy, and Panic at the Disco.
Those are from like 20 years ago.
But they're still making new music now.
Okay.
Those are played on pop stations. Those aren't played on rock stations.
But why?
I don't think there's any demand for like new, like rock, and the people who listen to things like 98 Rock and DC 101, I don't know.
Which are the 2 I listen to.
Is still a thing.
No, it is. They're both
just playing music from 1998 still.
Right.
Because people like you grew up with that music and you don't want any new music. Like the latest you will go is Audio Slave, and I don't want to hear anything made after Audio Slave.
It is a lot of 1990 to 2008 or something. It must be said.
Is there a lot of good butt rock on there? You get some Buck Cherry and like Nickelback.
Yeah. You'll get. No, I don't think Nickelback. I don't think they can play that because they have a reputation. But yeah, you'll get some Buck Cherry every once in a while or whatever. That's like, what, 2006. Yeah. But that's like as new as it gets, and I was just confused. So thank you for clearing that up for me.
Those bands, though, sell out massive stadiums. Still.
Here's the thing, like, I would like to listen to, like, new rock music. I just don't need all the pop or whatever. So there's no vehicle for me to get that into my system on terrestrial radio, is what you're telling me.
No, because it's all gone pop. So even like the new rock is like pop rock.
That's kind of what I thought. It seems like pop has sort of taken over the world. There's like maybe pop rock, pop country, like pop hip-hop. Oh yeah,
country's very
like,
pop.
That's it, right? Is that all of the genres of music?
Yeah, everything's combining toward pop. I mean, that was a complaint I heard like 10 years ago, and I think it's even more true now. Mm-hmm. But like, if you think about Paramore, like Paramore's first albums were like really hard, not that hard.
Yeah, they were rock.
But they were like real rock. And now it's just pop. Like it's very pop. And you've got all these bands like Walk the Moon and Bleachers and stuff like that are popular that are just pop rock, like the 1975. Like those are just pop rock bands.
So you're telling me if I want to hear new rock, I have to listen to like Hot 99.5. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or just make a radio station on Spotify.
No, I don't have that. I don't have that in the car. So
yeah.
But
it's not going to sound like the rock that you're thinking of, though. Unless it's made by a band from 1995.
I don't think I'm quite as close-minded as you think I am. So it doesn't have to sound exactly the same, but like whatever the new version of this is, I'd like to hear.
The new version of
rock in general.
Of like the Black Crowes, as we heard last episode.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's probably like Greta Van Fleet, but I don't like them.
Don't know who that is. Never heard of this person.
It's just like Led Zeppelin imitators.
I mean, Led Zeppelin's good, so
it's true. That's
All right.
a lot of rock talk, deep dive. I'm sure I'm wrong about something. Somebody can come and just tell me how I don't know my genres at all. I mean, that's fine.
I'm just curious. Like I said, on the radio stations I listen to, it's like I recognize 98% of the songs, and I take that as like a bad sign for the health of the genre.
I think that's correct. The correct take. It is a bad sign for the health of the genre.
All right. Anyway, go ahead. I know you have thoughts on Spiegelworld, so I will let you do this after I took Tidal Wave, of course.
Okay, so we mentioned this last episode. The thing that I said I'm the most excited about for 2023 is the Spiegelworld show coming to the new theater in the old Coyote Kate's slot parlor space at the Wild Wild West. As we said, it's named The Hook. It's opening June 30th, 2023. You can find more about it at spiegelworld.com. From the press release, because you know I love to read from a press release, the Hook venue will feature a world premiere live show with an international cast in a purpose-built 400-seat theater, so not a real big theater. A second home for Spiegelworld's critically acclaimed Italian-American psychedelic Super Frico restaurant, and a myriad of discoverable bars with an elevated cocktail program curated by award-winning mixologists. They're speaking my language here. Discoverable bars, cocktails.
I went to the website while you were talking, and it is, first, it's like pretty crazy, like seeing whatever these acts are mixed in with just random pictures of Atlantic City. But seems interesting. I mean, it seems like I'd be maybe slightly more interested in it than I thought I would be, but it just seems like the generic kind of like vaudeville style, like Atlantic City show. Sort of like burlesque at Borgata. That's what it reminds me of.
But like really over the top, I think. So like Absinthe, the acts are, you get acrobatics, you get guys doing crazy contortions where they're like stacking up each other in feats of strength that you can't even imagine are possible. I think the acts in Absinthe change a decent amount because, they rotate through the various things. It's also very raunchy. And I think everything Spiegelworld is very raunchy, so I expect there will be a good dose of that. Like, even more than a typical burlesque show, where it's sort of very, like, nudge, nudge. Like, no, this is, like, right in your face.
Yeah, the burlesque at Borgata was, like, fairly PG-13, I think. I mean, like, like as PG-13 as something with girls wearing tassels could be, I guess.
Yeah, no, there's one scene that I think is in every Absinthe that's, like, sort of a comedy sketch that is extremely NC-17. And I think there are other shows in Vegas go even further than that with like some gross out stuff that I don't think I necessarily want to see. So hopefully they don't go that direction. I mean, I'm assuming this is their first show in Atlantic City. If anything, they're going to dial it back.
I would assume, they would want it to be as enticing for as wide an audience as possible or whatever.
They're doing shows all year round, they say. They're going to be Wednesday through Sunday, 7 and 9 p.m., 2 shows a night. Tickets are already on sale now. They start at $68.
That's I want to buy my tickets for June right now, shortly.
June 30th, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely want to go. I think it'll be really cool. I like the whole concept that they're talking about with multiple bars and everything. It just seems so different for Atlantic City. The restaurant, Super Frico, as I said, Italian-American psychedelic. It has a location at the Cosmo. They have entertainers. One Yelper described it as people walking through dressed like Halloween. Very critical review. Bogan in our Facebook group said that he is not sure how this will go over in New Jersey, where they are probably very particular, I would say, about Italian cuisine, because in Vegas it gets very mixed reviews for that.
Right. And it's obviously New Jersey.
Yes. So I think it's really going for something totally different, and I'm a little nervous about it. I'm a little nervous that the whole concept is not going to go over amazing, not because of any, like, doing something particularly wrong, but just because it's so different. But, like, 400-person theater is not a huge theater.
You say it's not a huge theater, but for running 2 shows a night, every night, forever, even in the off-season, like, it sounds pretty big to me.
Yeah, I mean, they're running 10 shows a week, so 4,000 tickets a week.
They're not going to sell 4,000 tickets in November or whatever.
Yeah, hopefully they don't expect to and have accounted for that.
I'm sure the comps will be generous for it in the off-season, as just like at Burlesque, where I think it's impossible to go and not get comped.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just guessing. I have no idea how this whole bar thing is going to work out with multiple bars. So the one in Cosmo, there's like a hidden ski lodge that you can go into that's like a speakeasy. And so it seems like they're going to do even more of that in AC.
Which seems cool. It's just, my concern is like, is there the audience to support this?
I can't imagine that more than like one of them is open in the off season.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm super excited.
It's a good sign. This is a great sign for the city that someone's willing to try this, and that, you know, like presumably Spiegelworld and Caesars like know what they're doing. So
yeah, I mean, I really admire Caesars and Spiegelworld for having the balls to do this and to just go all out when, you know, there is no proven track record of these sort of long-term performances in Atlantic City. And this feels like if they came to me and were like, what do you want in Atlantic City for like show and entertainment and bars?
This is exactly it.
Sounds like this is it. And so I'm really excited about it. Obviously the execution can be very different, but yeah, it sounds awesome to me. So I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to go and see it. And hopefully, you know, everything is up and running and doing very well by the time I actually get there after it opens. So has your interest more peaked? Because I know initially you were saying...
It's more peaked. I don't know. So, like, I've never seen Absinthe or whatever, but everything I heard about it, I think it, like, played up the raunchy level of it, which I'm, like, just not interested in, so...
Yeah. I mean, the host is very raunchy, and there's, like, one real act, I think, that's, like...
The Cirque aspects of it or whatever, like, sound fine, and I have no problem with that, so...
Yeah, so hopefully that's more of what this is, and we'll see.
I enjoyed Burlesque when I saw it, which you've never seen, right?
I've not, and I'm
surprised by that.
Get comp tickets to it all the time.
Right. It's good.
I should go.
You should go. I mean, legitimately, if you go next month, you should go. If you're in Borgata, anyway, if they're doing it that night.
Your wife enjoyed it?
Yes, my wife enjoyed it a lot.
No, so it's PG enough, PG-13 enough.
I mean, there's a lot of girls with tassels and stuff. I mean, if your wife wouldn't like that, she wouldn't enjoy it. But
no, I don't think she cares.
Yeah, no, it was fine. Like, I don't know. Like, what are you worried about? Your wife not enjoying?
Just raunchiness, I guess. Like, she would not have enjoyed the comedy of that.
Right, and that's, like, I don't think I will enjoy the comedy if I had seen Absinthe or whatever, from what I've heard about it, so. And, like, there is, like, some comedy, but it's, like, yeah, like, it's pretty watered down, or whatever, at Burlesque, at least when I saw it. Like, there were some jokes, like, sexual jokes or whatever, but they were, like, pretty tame.
So, future development. Lots of stuff is planned, not just for 2023, but beyond.
Uh-huh.
I'll actually start with the Atlantic Club because we mentioned it last
episode. We talked about it last episode.
You very briefly asked if anything would go there. We both thought no.
Uh-huh.
But one Rocco Sebastiani, principal of Coliseo Atlantic City, Inc., actually based in New York City, has said that they have plans to turn it into luxury condos. Is that going to happen?
No.
Why not?
Hey, maybe. Who knows? I mean, like, is there a market for that in Atlantic City? Probably not, honestly, if I'm being serious. But it'd be good for someone to try, but I'm not going to believe anyone until something actually starts happening. I'd be like Charlie Brown if I was like, oh, this guy said this. It's probably going to happen. Never learning from my mistakes. The football being pulled away. Right.
Specifically with this property, I mean, with lots of things in Atlantic City, but this property in particular, we've heard all sorts of things. We've heard they were going to split it up and sell it off into different, whatever, not sublets, but like portions of the property. We've heard it's going to be a water park. We've heard all sorts of things. There are lots of red flags, such as they apparently owe $680,000 in back taxes.
Right. I saw in some article that I think it was actually on like the tax auction website right now, the Atlantic Club.
Yes, it is like up there apparently for sale.
Right.
But Sebastiani says that they're actually expecting $2 million in tax refunds, that the city needs to just approve these plans, and that more specific information about the plans will be unveiled in January.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
So 2 episodes from now, we should know all about this.
I mean, by all accounts, you know, they tried to make Showboat also into condos, right? And I think that part of the project was a colossal failure, so...
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
But that was only like a small part. Man, how great would it be to have a condo at Showboat, just walk down into the Lucky Snake? It'd be sweet.
I'm frankly surprised you haven't bought one.
It's true. I mean, they're probably more than I want to spend. We're trying to move to the suburbs. Why not move to Atlantic City instead?
$1,000. It's more than I want to spend.
So the other big development plan to talk about, I guess we should talk about it. Speaking of BART, we just talked about BART, the perfect segue.
Speaking of plans that I'm not going to believe until I see something happen on, Well, this is even less concrete than what we heard about Atlantic Club. But yes, Bart Blatstein did, this was probably close to a month ago, make a press conference and put out a $3 billion proposal for Bader Field, basically trying to build 10,000 units of rental homes aimed at mid-market and 400,000 square feet of retail and office space, along with 20 acres of open recreational space and trails. Just trying to make it a huge multi-use development, which, multi-use developments are very popular everywhere. Yeah, and bring it to Atlantic City. But like I said, I think this press conference was just an idea he had that he doesn't have any funding for, and he obviously doesn't own Bader Field, and so...
My favorite part of this is that the tweets and the headlines about it were Blatstein unveils $3 billion development plan. And if you don't know how these things work, you would read that and say, whoa.
Oh, something's happening. This is cool, right? That's not true at all.
No claim to Bader Field. This is just an idea. There's the other idea for the racetrack.
Right.
Stuff motorsports park. Yeah, I mean, there's just no reason really to get too much into this.
Yeah, it's going to be fake news until at least Bader Field changes hands as someone owns it.
Yes. Yeah. The other development in the future is 2 roller coasters are planned for Steel Pier, opening in 2024 and 2025. Do you actually believe that these will happen?
I have not looked into this at all, and I haven't heard anything independent about it, but it seems a lot more believable than the other 2 things we just talked about.
Yeah, I mean, they announced this. There's renderings of the coasters. The company that makes the rides showed it off at some sort of amusement convention. This seems legit. It seems like this is real concrete plans.
There is no reason they couldn't put roller coasters on the Steel Pier. I mean, certainly Wildwood has roller coasters on their pier, so...
I mean, there is right now, the Crazy Mouse, a little thing.
Yeah, right.
But this is going to be 2, much bigger roller coasters. It will really totally change the look of the Steel Pier. I'll link to a YouTube video where they're unveiling them. The one funny thing to me is, I don't know if they're taller than the observation wheel, but they're close to the same height. So it is funny that it sort of dwarfs the low roller. It makes it look very small because you're going to have these big hulking steel structures there, with roller coasters, but it looks cool to me. Hopefully
would be good.
This is an attraction and actually happens and brings people in, because there are a bunch of coaster files, including Rennie, who is the person who, I think atted us on Twitter to tell us about this. So hat tip to him.
I'd love to, go on a roller coaster on the Steel Pier.
The polar coaster?
Yeah, or the polar coaster.
That was episode 3.
Brighton Park or whatever, right?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
It was very early in the episodes.
Indeed. Not too early for PG-rated sexual jokes, much like Burlesque at Borgata.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. We're not above that.
No. Even in episode 3. Yeah, just data. November came out. Did I win our bet?
Well, we have multiple bets that this is...
Did I win, the $10 million bet, though?
No, I won the $10 million bet.
Not officially.
Yeah, not officially.
But probably, yes.
So, we had a bet that was, will a casino have a sub $10 million month in 2022? I said no, you said yes. Bally's came in last in November with $10.03 million. So they were very, very close. They were down 10.1% from November of 2021. That's very bad. They were the big loser of this month. But very otherwise, bad. It was a good month. Well, certainly compared to October, which was very bad. $214.5 million in November, up 3.7% year over year. October was down over 7%. September was only up 1.3%. After the rest of the year, we were seeing, 4%, up 7%, much better numbers than that. So 3.7 is not amazing, but it's certainly better than it's been.
Yeah.
I think what the people really want to know is what this means for the bets that we've made.
Yeah. So, I think traditionally December has been a bit stronger than November. So It's certainly looking bad for my bet. Bally's month, clearly. We said it was awful in $10.03 million, but it was horrifically unlucky again, just like October was for them. So I suspect that won't keep up. My only hope really is if Golden Nugget has a similar month to Bally's. I think they still have a shot of going under, but this was probably my chance, unfortunately.
Yeah, December is typically better. It would be very surprising if people had a worse month than they did in November. You'll get your money back though, because you bet on over $2.75 billion and
2.8 at least, I think, right?
the total revenue for December would only need to be 181 million for that bet to go over.
Right.
And January was 184 million, and January is almost always the worst month of the year. Mm-hmm. So it would be absolutely shocking. I mean, it could be the worst month of the year, December, and still go over 2.75. Right. So that's almost surely a win for you.
Right.
The other hint that we got for our bets that we made in last episode is Borg, Hard Rock, Ocean, 1, 2, 3, as per usual.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This month, the gaps are big. The only thing that wasn't that big is I guess Ocean was 5 million ways away from Hard Rock, but that's still a pretty big gap.
Yeah, it still feels big. I mean, Ocean was up 8.7% while Hard Rock was down 5%. So like that's interesting, but that the gap is still 5 million tells you how far apart they are. The biggest winner in terms of gain year over year was Caesars, 16.6%.
I know. They had a very, very lucky month.
Yeah.
I looked at all the numbers right before the episode, and they had an extremely lucky month.
And it was still not enough to close the gap to Tropicana.
Right. Almost.
We're predicting maybe would go ahead of Tropicana in 2023. Yeah. But anything else worth mentioning?
Not too much. What I need to root for is a very weak December to make my overall 2023 bet more likely to come true, I think.
Yeah.
Because I also have the over on 2023 versus 2022, so
you need it to be weak, but not so weak that you lose. I mean, that just seems
not
impossible.
Historically weak.
Yeah.
Just regular weak.
Also, we have a bet on 4.5 over under casinos beating their 2020.
That's too complicated for me to think about. Yeah. I don't even know what I need to root for.
I mean, 5 casinos were up year over year. I mean, this is still 2022, so I don't think that really means anything for that bet.
Right. Already this year, 4 casinos are up, and
wow.
It looks like Resorts and Caesars. Golden Nugget are going to be up too, probably.
It's pretty good.
It might be only the 3 Caesars properties that have a chance of being down year over year, and even Caesars could be up. So
it feels like a decent month. I feel it's funny because I went into the betting last episode very pessimistic about 2023 because of the trends of September and October, and now we see this little pop back up. And so if December goes really well, like I think that looks really good going into next year.
I don't know. Is Caesars going to make it? They need an $18 million December.
They should get that.
I don't know. I mean, their luck was crazy good, and it was $19 million this month. So, they should get it, but they'll be up like 1% or something.
So last December, what did they get?
19 million.
Yeah. So it's going to be close.
There's going to be like 0.3% that they're up.
Yeah.
Trop and Harrah's, I think they have no chance, but Trop would need to get 23 million. That's not going to happen in December. They had 19 million last December, and Harrah's needs like a bajillion, so 30 million almost. They have 23 million last December, but yeah, it's still not going to happen. Yeah, Caesars will be the interesting one. I think they'll make it, but it's going to be under 0.5% that they're up year over year, I think. And Resorts needs to get 10 million.
They should get there.
So if they don't make it, that means I win our other bet.
Yeah.
They should get it. They should have no problem getting it. And Borgata's going to be up like, 20% year over year or something. They're already up $60 million from 2021. So.
Insane. Just insane.
They're going to be up $100 million.
They could post a 0 and they would be up 10% year over year.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yes. They're going to be up $100 million year over year.
That's
at least.
Crazy.
At least.
Crazy.
Yep.
Borgata. Killing it.
Borgata. What a casino.
You know why? Because they started giving me comps.
That was the difference.
Give Craig comps. Make tons of money. Because I bring so much money when I come to gamble. Oh, other Borgata news. One last thing. Old Homestead reopened. I didn't realize that it had been closed for a long time.
No, it was closed.
They remodeled it. And it's reopening. People love the Old Homestead, which is funny. It's considered like, if not the best steakhouse in Atlantic City, one of the best. It's the oldest steakhouse in New York City. It is considered, like, every review of it is like, oldest does not mean best. It's very overpriced. Don't go there. But it's just survived forever. And then Atlantic City, everybody loves it.
What was the name of the restaurant in Atlantic Club that you're like was reasonably priced, and you're like, there's one of these in New York City, and it's legitimately just crazy expensive?
Oh, man. Was it an Italian place?
It was an Italian place, I think.
Yeah, no, I can't remember. It was somebody's name.
Yeah, we should go to the Old Homestead sometime. I mean, like we said, when we went to the old Wolfgang Pucks, which I don't know the name anymore, even though we just went there 2 trips ago. It was fine. I'm sure Old Homestead would be better.
It was called Patsy's Italian Restaurant. I found something called theatlanticcitykasinos.com that looks extremely out of date, and it talks about
It's not the website that I sent you from 1998, though. That was legitimately the greatest website I've ever seen about Atlantic City, though, right?
I don't think so.
No.
This talks about 2012.
Oh, yeah, no. The website I sent you certainly was not updated after 2002, even though it was doing gangbusters.
There's a note on this website that everybody should know about. The Atlantic Club Casino will close effective January 13th, 2014.
All right. Anyway, if you want to reach out to us or to our other listeners, you can do so at our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/DoForAWin. Find all of our great content and buy a shirt at doforawin.com. Reach out to Craig on Twitter at DoForAWin or me at Kyle Askin, and send Craig questions to doforwin@gmail.com, especially because we have a mailbag episode next episode.
We've gotten a few mailbag questions.
Oh, good.
They're good, so keep them coming. Also, we sold a shirt.
Yeah.
I believe we are down to 5 shirts. 4 of them are larges. I think one of them is either a 3X or a 4X. And that's all we got left. We also have a request to make new shirts. Just putting that out there.
And you've mentioned it to me, and I'm intrigued by the idea. I mean, you would have thought we'd have learned something after us just sitting on these shirts for literally 3 years, but
we've sold all of them.
Nothing has been learned.
It's a booming success. The only thing to learn is we're amazing at selling shirts. We made 72 shirts and we sold 67 of them, including to ourselves.
Indeed. And other giveaways to family and friends.
I won't hear it. We gave away 60 shirts. We sold 7 shirts. We have 5 shirts left. Buy a large shirt.
I'm just annoyed I can't remember the website that I was thinking of. The Atlantic City Bar and Grill, their old website, is a subdomain of the website I'm thinking of. I will find it. Okay. Remember?
We find it in the post show.
I'll find it in the post show.
We'll see you in 2023. This is finally the last episode. We will not do an episode next week, I promise you.
We will see you in 2023. It's been a pleasure, as always, and we're looking forward to another wonderful year of Do For One.
I'm just really happy that we could get all of our listeners a holiday present.
Indeed.
Which is
this episode.
Episode 191 of the podcast.
Indeed. What more could anyone want?
If this episode is 35 minutes and 25 seconds long, you will be able to make a playlist of all 191 episodes of Due for a Win, start it, and listen to it for 7 days straight, 24 hours a day, and it would not end until a full week had elapsed.
That's it's truly horrifying. B, I don't think this episode is going to be 35 minutes long.
Yeah, it should be shorter than that. But if I can make it exactly 35 minutes and 25 seconds, I'm going to do it.
Yep. I mean, you are the one that does the editing. You do have full control over that.
That would be a lot of work.
Even if we actually record for 30 minutes, you can still just put white noise at the end for 5 minutes.
The post show is 4.5 minutes after the
right.
pum. It'll just be Sandstorm for 4.5 minutes.
I mean, that would be worth.
That's true.